Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Witching Hour. Let's hope your wild ride is smooth and without any scares.
Welcome back. As always, I am James Cleary, sitting here with
Frankie Giordano. How's it going?
Chris Argnoli.
Keeping it 24/7. This is Nick Kreider.
and we are back for another edition of the Witching Hour. Tonight's topic is something Frankie picked out. It's cryptids. Basically Bigfoot, lake monsters, I don't know, stuff like that. Owl people.
Thank God for describing that because I had no idea what they were. I was going to say that's the thing that Superman's afraid of.
Owl
That's
people?
kryptonite.
Yeah,
Kryptonite. That would be kryptonite, yeah.
Kryptonite.
But, so I guess the first thing is, Chris, you had a good story, I guess.
Yeah, well, what do you mean you guess?
I don't know, I haven't heard it, so I guess
yeah,
it is good.
I guess that is a fair point. No, so I go to Italy quite often. Not often. I mean, you know.
Been there twice in the last, 6 months.
Okay.
More than I'll ever go.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so I've been there. But the thing was, there was this one church. It was closed down. It was in Positano. Positano. And the thing is, at the there was a little boy that was killed there. Well, raped, then killed by pretty much like all the priests there. And there was like 100 priests there.
No, was this last year?
What? No. So this happened like maybe like 50 years ago, kind of thing. And the boy ended up dying there. And at night, they say you can see the boy at the top of the bell tower.
Oh, that's really creepy.
Yeah, tell me about it. And it's
I mean, that's off the topic of cryptids, but it's still a good
thing
story.
Is, have you ever seen like you know like the center of a town, like a town square?
Yeah.
That the church is in the middle of the town square, so like all these reports from around the houses, it's like they all notice this little boy.
Oh, that's really weird. So you said it's in town square, so basically,
Yeah, it's like picture a church inside like all these apartments. You know, like the apartment buildings in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Well, think of them like right next to each other in a square, and then there's a church right in the middle, and everyone at night can see this boy.
Oh, that's really weird.
Yeah, but it's like certain nights and certain times, and it's a weird thing. I'd be so creeped out.
Yeah, I would too. Have you been there?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been to the town square. I just wasn't there at night to see it.
Oh, you should definitely next time you go at night.
Oh yeah, no, that's a goal of mine to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you could see that, just seeing it, not even just like getting pictures, but actually just seeing it,
Yeah,
that's amazing. So let's get onto our topic. The first thing I want to talk about is, and I talked about it with Nick earlier. It's the owl sightings, the giant Mothman owl-like sightings in Chicago. So it's been like reported. A lot of people. They only have 3 reportings in this article that I found, but it was also written on May 2nd, so it's been a few months.
Not too long ago.
I mean, not too long ago, but there have been a lot more sightings since then, and like reputable. You can they're people of actual. They're good. They're good people. They're good people. I can't think of what I was.
Said.
Reputable.
Yeah, reputable. That's what I couldn't think of what I was trying to say.
Listen, this is a paranormal podcast.
We're not educated.
We are not educated in vocabulary words. So.
They're trying to take my college. Republicans saying college is bad for me.
I need my college. It's good for me.
Yeah, teaching me how to drink.
Well,
parents' siblings.
I have a question, James. Is this big owl? Is this owl man? Is this the size of a human, or is it
Human sized? Even a little bit bigger. People thought it was a Mothman at first.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it had the red eyes?
personally, like I don't really know much about this kind of stuff, but I do. Everyone's heard of the Mothman at least. There's been movies and
The Mothman Prophecies. Which is a good movie.
yeah. I mean, when it comes to cryptid stuff, it was interesting.
6.5 feet long.
It was interesting. It's interesting to research and stuff, but I mean, I haven't seen any legitimate proof, to point in the right direction for it to be real. I mean, the one that if I were to believe in one of the cryptid animals or creatures that is real, it would be Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Only because, like history, thousands of years ago or however long ago, there was some kind of pre-humanoid people that had hair, fully hair. I mean, you never know.
Humans and
Yeah.
apes derived from the same common ancestor. They
Right.
just split off at that link.
Right. I mean,
And apes developed and humans developed at the same time. Prior to we are
Homo sapiens.
Homo sapien. There was Homo erectus,
Right.
and all. I can't think of the other ones. I should know this. It's my major.
Yeah.
But, I just can't think of the other names. If Bigfoot existed, it would either be a third branch. There'd be chimpanzees, humans, and then whatever Bigfoot is, or Bigfoot would be before the break off of human, or right at the break off of human and ape, which would mean it would have to be thousands of years old. So, although likely, it's also unlikely. You know what I mean?
no, I mean the thing that kind of makes the,
What I'm
the
trying to
TV,
say is
the TV shows out there where they're trying
killing
to,
Bigfoot.
no, not necessarily killing Bigfoot, but they're just going out and trying to find it. I mean, most people that see Bigfoot aren't actually going to find Bigfoot. They're just like, they just so happens to be, right place at the right time. But then again, like I mean, I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to believe in something like that. But I mean, there was that video that came out. I think it was during like the 60s or 70s. There was a bunch of guys riding horses or something like that.
We're talking about the really generic Bigfoot
the really
video.
generic Bigfoot video, and like I think like scientists or whoever was watching the video, they like tried to dissect the video piece by piece, and they said like it wasn't a natural movement for a human to walk that way.
The way it was like
The way,
arched its back and swaying its arms.
right. I mean, that itself is pointing in the direction. I mean, it's. I'm still on the fence with it, but I don't know.
It could have happened genetically speaking and evolutionary, like speaking through evolution. It could have happened. All just because it could have doesn't mean it did.
But here's the
There's
thing.
a current theory going around that Bigfoot is a ghost. And the theory is that this creature did at one time was real. It was real at one time, but it's dead now, and that's just its.
That's a
Spectral form.
Spectral form. It's like, you know how I can't remember the name of the type of haunting.
Oh, I know.
Where it's like
It's a house.
it's like a memory,
yeah, right. Oh,
and it's just
oh,
replays. It's not.
Residual. No.
Oh man, I can't think of the name.
If
of
anyone
it.
can figure it out.
Yeah, email me at. But that's why there's no photographs, or the photographs are always blurry, and you get the footprints here and there, but you don't ever get hair. And
there has been sightings, or people have found some kind of hair that they can't explain what kind of animals.
But there's never a
Residual.
body.
It's
Residual.
residual. So like.
But there's never a body.
I mean, that's a stretch, but.
It is, but that's the new theory going around, and it's a current theory that just started going around within the last year and a half. But
But here's just sorry to cut you off, but there is like other kinds of Bigfoot sightings. I know like there's like the swamp beast,
the swamp ape,
like something similar to that. And I'm pretty sure there was one that was like a smaller version of the Bigfoot, where it was like some kind of like smaller 4-foot ape looking thing running around. I mean, could someone very well be in a suit running around? Probably, but
yeah.
I'd hope to believe in it.
So I'm looking at the timeline for, as we were talking about before, Bigfoot. It's the owl that they have been capturing in Chicago,
right.
or Mothman, whatever they want to say it is. But the first sighting was in 2011, and then it just stopped until May or March.
But see, that's kind of sketchy because like, why would it only appear now?
But
why
it
haven't people
stopped
been seeing
in
this?
2011.
Right, but maybe someone just was like, "Hey, I'm gonna think of an idea where I'm gonna scare people in Chicago, dressing up as some kind of animal."
I'm just gonna make up a theory to dispute that, just to play on the other side of the fence. If this creature is real, maybe it moved from one area to the next.
I mean that's a legitimate. That's a legitimate
animals
case.
are smart. Animals, not all. Not every animal's a lemming. Not everything's stupid. If it lives somewhere for a certain amount of time, then it outlasts its resources, or if it starts to get hunted, it just moves. Especially owls. Owls are smart. But anyway, I'll read the timeline so you guys can hear. So, the current timeline. A suspicious winged entity is captured on camera, and 2 roommates and their friends are terrorized by glowing eyes peeking through their windows in 2011.
Wait, I don't know if this is related or true, but wasn't there some kind of cryptic animal or creature that when someone saw it, it would cause some kind of disaster?
That was the Mothman.
Hey, that's the Mothman?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to figure that
Okay.
out.
And then after that, this goes back to this year. A semi-truck driver reports a strange medical medical maladies after spotting a flying humanoid flying over Chicago Expressway on March 22nd, 2017. Okay, so this guy spots this weird flying thing with glowing eyes, and afterwards he starts getting really bad
It's like a
medical issues.
It's like a sickness.
Yeah, but that can be explained anything. You could eat a bad gas station egg salad sandwich. But okay. The next one. A witness walking their dog in Chicago's Oz Park runs into a paralyzing winged being on April 10th, 2017. That's the one I read. She said it was it looked like a huge owl with glowing eyes when the moon hit it.
Mm-hmm.
After that, 3 separate witnesses report seeing the unidentified flying humanoid over Chicago between April 15th and April 16th, 2017. A man fishing with his son on the banks of the Little Calumet in Chicago sees a weird winged being after hearing an eerie, unexplained sound on April 27th. A man and his son see a bat-like creature while walking at Calumet Park on May 5th, 2017. What makes these stories, sightings, weird is they're happening all over the city. They're not just in one park. These parks are all over the city that they're seeing them in. And it's always these parks, like city parks. A family walking along the riverfront sees a flying humanoid cross over the William P. Fay Bridge within a week of the May 5th sightings. A married couple witnessed a large black bat-like creature with growing red eyes near the intersection of North Wrightwood Avenue and North Lakeview Avenue on May 27, 2017. 2 different couples see a large bat-like flying humanoid in the Lincoln Park area on June 3rd, 2017. A jogger near Navy Pier sees an enormous bat-like wing and fly towards the water treatment plant on June 17th, 2017. Just poorly written, and it confused me. It's really poorly written.
Sure it was.
You got to call me out on my own show.
Ooh, silence.
Yeah.
The silence.
A couple, along with a crowd of people, sees a large black bat-like creature with humanoid features near the Alder Planetarium on June 23rd, 2017. A second report received...
That's weird. No human would be near a planetarium. So this is...
Whoa. Let's take a step back. I always enjoyed them as a kid.
What planetarium did you go to?
I went to the
Franklin
Griffith.
Institute. Is there one at the Franklin Institute?
I don't think the Franklin Institute has
Well, I guess it wasn't that
time-
memorable.
The last one I went to was in LA, the Griffith Observatory.
Listen, I had a good time. I thought it was cool when they did the whole video thing, all that stuff. I mean, you try to learn.
Okay,
I'm
we're
pretty sure
getting
that.
off
Wait,
topic
pretty
here.
sure that Morgan Freeman was
Straying.
the voice.
Straying.
Yeah, we're making it's a stretch. Police officers, along with officer's partner and a group of civilians, see a dark black shadow with wings standing atop a building before taking flight in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood of Chicago on June 29, 2017. This is recent. A security officer taking a break outside of the Owl sees a bat-like humanoid flying over an empty lot across the street on June 30th, 2017. And then it just says to report sightings, contact Lon Stricker at phantomsandmonsters.com or call them directly. And you can find this all yourself on Google. But
Do your own damn work.
Legitimate source.
yeah, I'm going to throw him a bone since I just used this website. But
Go you.
But yeah, it's kind of freaky. And everything just said bat-like, but I heard it was an owl-like creature, so I could be wrong. But could you what do you guys think? You heard it was officers of the law saw it. Not that, everything they say is
Could
correct.
it be a big bird?
That's what a lot of people are saying. Could it have been?
I mean, there's birds out there that are legit.
a crane,
cranes.
cranes.
No,
albatrosses.
albatross.
Although you wouldn't see.
Albatross. It's always located near the water. I don't know actually where they're located in the world, but I'm pretty sure they have
Near
a
oceans.
10-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, the wingspan isn't what they're talking about. It standing up is 6 foot tall. The only thing that would be like that would be a crane.
People cranes aren't that big. Cranes are
I don't-
skinny.
It's possible, it was just a very big bird, maybe not an owl or something that looks similar to an
Well, a
owl.
lot of people are saying, it's a barn owl. That's what you're saying it was.
Barn
because-
owl. Barn owls are small. If it's anything, it could be a great horn. But those things get to
But the only reason, but their eyes won't glow.
I don't know. Honestly,
That's why they were saying a barn owl, because when light reflects off the barn owl's eyes, it glows.
What is our verdict?
I say bullshit.
I say bullshit as well.
I'll be the optimistic. You got a yes from me, dog.
Listen, you got a. I said that the Bigfoot could exist. I'm gonna play devil's advocate with everyone tonight, but like, I believe that Bigfoot could exist. This thing, nah, not a chance. But that's just my opinion.
I just read the timeline and the reports. Do I, necessarily believe it's true? Maybe. Nah, I don't really have an opinion because I have no idea. But
I mean, I think we should.
Would I think it's cool if we found a huge humanoid flying monster thing? Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Throw it in the Philadelphia Zoo. Let's test it out.
That's where they're probably going to end up once we find something.
Which is kind of sad.
Considering, I mean, what's going to happen once we find Bigfoot? It's going to go straight into the zoo.
Considering Chicago is like Iraq, I am surprised that someone didn't just shoot this thing out of the air.
Recently in Chicago,
I would have a better chance of turning up dead on the street the next morning.
But okay, we'll move on.
Hello, Chicago.
This next thing that this thing isn't real. Let's just start out with this.
Could we talk about some kind of like creature that people are like familiar with, like the chupacabra?
I actually have a few. I have like 6 we're going to talk about. But this one is just ridiculous because it literally looks like a rabbit with deer horns, and somebody duct taped a.
I've seen this. They sell these at like antique shops.
No, that's a jackalope. This isn't a jackalope. This is a German myth called the Wolpertinger.
Something very German.
Yeah, it's something really German.
Just look up German mythological creature, and it comes with this weird animal with the antlers.
But I was literally reading like the things it's in, and realized this thing was just made up for MMORPGs. RuneScape, World of Warcraft, The Witcher 3, which I'm gonna.
This looks like some what do you call the people that sew up the dead animals?
Taxidermist?
He was just bored, and he had like 5 different animals. He's like, you know what? Let me just mess with people.
It looks like somebody took a falcon and cut off its wings and hot glued it to a rabbit with.
Has anyone seen this living?
No.
So then it doesn't.
It's from myths in German, but I'm not even gonna read it. I just want to describe it to the viewers because it just sounds ridiculous and it just looks ridiculous. Like the one picture, it's like a duck head with cow ears and horns, with a beaver body, duck webbed feet, lizard claws, and like I think that's like a Barbie, I don't know, like ponytail off the back and falcon wings. It just look
business in the front, party in the back.
Basically,
it's an animal's.
It just like Frankie said, it's a taxidermist wet dream. So let's get rid of that guy.
On to the next.
This is an Indian, India.
India. Which kind of Indian? Native American Indian, or?
That's why I said India.
All right.
I don't know if this is one of their gods, but it just looks like a horse on steroids. Like the horse is standing up, and it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger with a horse head on.
Nice.
But
what was that really famous racing horse?
Secretariat.
Secretariat. Yeah, it was just someone drew a nice picture of Secretariat.
Yeah, after Secretariat walked on 2 legs and lifted like 100-pound dumbbells.
Hey, man.
Shot steroids.
It's a minotaur.
But are you ready for this name? It's Tikbalang.
Nice.
Tikbalang.
You know, I'm gonna go out and say it, but I don't think that's a legitimate.
Creature. I was totally wrong with Indian lore. Is a creature of Philippine folklore, said to lurk in the mountains and forests of the Philippines. I was way off.
Hey, Philippines! Shout out to the Philippines. You guys have some crazy shit over there.
It's described as a tall, bony, humanoid creature with disproportionately long limbs to the point that its knees reach above its head when it squats. What? This thing sounds like if it jumped, like it kneeled and jumped, it would like hit space.
Or it looks like it's some douchebag at the gym.
Yeah, he wears like the really thin
and moans every single time he drops the
let's see. He wears a really thin tank top, like the strings are really thin, so like they just cover his nipples.
And the shirt says "Suns Out, Guns Out."
Suns Out, Guns Out. really short shorts, slides with long socks, backwards hat, and he's always drinking creatine.
Hashtag Planet Fitness. All right, on to the next.
Oh my god, we're gonna get sued. Yeah, do it. I don't have any money. I'll kill myself. I don't care. Paranormal.
Sue me. What are you gonna steal?
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, on to something that could actually be real.
It is heads and feet of an animal, most commonly a
jeez.
horse. In some versions, it's transforming of an aborted fetus sent to Earth from limbo. What?
Limbo?
So an aborted fetus digivolved into a huge horse thing.
Digimon?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get sued by Digimon now.
Who has more money, me or them?
Digimon probably has no money.
I love Digimon. Don't
Sue us,
you hate it.
Digimon.
Stop it.
Hashtag Pokemon's better.
No, Digimon was so much better.
All right, on to the next.
Yeah, we'll talk about this another time on a different podcast. Let's talk about the Montauk Monster. Montauk Monster?
The Montauk? Oh, wait.
Yeah, because you've been there.
Yeah, I mean...
I've seen this thing on the news. I remember
I mean,
this.
yeah, no, I do remember. I mean, if anyone's not familiar where
The
Montauk
picture
is...
freaky, though.
Montauk is at the tip of Long Island.
They say it's a weird raccoon, but it has like a beak.
It came out of the ocean?
Yeah, it washed up on the beach, and the body disappeared before they could do anything to test it.
But they got a picture of it, right?
The body, yeah. The I guess, I don't know, someone reported it. They went to find it, and the body was gone when they got there. Yeah, you look it up. We'll move on to something else. You ever hear of the Dover Demon? Dover, Massachusetts?
No, I've heard of the New Jersey Devil. Is that anything similar? Probably not.
You want to talk about the Jersey Devil?
I mean, that's one of the biggest mythological
you know my
cryptids out there.
Okay, so my mom's from Bristol, PA. I talked about this on my radio show once. My mom's from Bristol. And there's actually, in the early 1900s, there was a Jersey Devil sighting in Bristol, Pennsylvania.
Really?
So, yeah, it was really...
What's the original backstory onto the Jersey Devil?
I actually know that.
Was it... You do know it?
Yes, I do know. The Leeds family. What was the mother's name? Here, I'll just read it. Mother Leeds had a 13th child, and while she was giving birth, she said something along the lines of, "Let this baby be the devil," or something like that, because it was killing her, basically. And it flew right out of her, and it basically... It was the devil, basically. It flew...
So they say.
Yeah, so they say. It flew right out and like up the chimney and out the house.
So I'm looking at a picture right now. It says that, it's supposed to look like someone like a kangaroo with a head of a goat, leathery bat wings, horns, small arms.
You're talking about the Jersey Devil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's terrifying looking.
It sits on porta potties, or no, outhouses, right?
Yeah,
I was watching a documentary years ago, and they said that if you sat in an outhouse, it couldn't get you. That was like the one place you were
but
safe.
it stands on top of the outhouse.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you look at like pictures of it,
it's scary looking.
Let's do another future podcast from the Leeds property in the Pine Barrens.
We'll be there.
In Jersey. Well, that's the...
Wait, where is it? Where in Jersey is it located?
The southernmost part of Jersey is the Pine Barrens. In the Pine Barrens is actually the remnants of the Leeds family house. You can find like the...
Oh, it's like a legit...
base.
It's an actual house?
Yeah, you can
Really?
find the base of the house.
Listen to this. It says that it has been reported to move quickly and often is described as emitting a blood-curdling scream.
Yeah, screams is really weird.
See, like, that's really scary. Like, I don't know, just the thought of, like, anything demonic scares me. Cause,
Well, it's not necessarily
I mean, the devil...
demonic.
Yeah, it is. Sure it is. Devil.
Just because it's called... It's only called the Jersey Devil because of its appearance.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, that's the most famous thing to come out of New Jersey, except for the Jersey Shore. Fist bump, fist bump, fist bump.
Anyway, yeah, if you go into the Pine Barrens, you can find the remnants of the structure of the house. Now, I don't know necessarily if that's the actual house, but it's
Mother
reported.
Leeds?
Yeah, Mother
How?
Leeds.
I mean, is there any like documents, proof that she existed?
Yeah,
Really?
there's still a Leeds family in Jersey.
I don't know, the descendants?
Yeah.
Really? What do you know?
Really kinda cute. Oh, actually, I just found an article. Leeds descendants debunk legend of the Jersey Devil. For generations, the story about the Jersey Devil has passed down around by people living and visiting South Jersey. One former resident decided to dig deeper into the lore and try to find out not only the truth, but also the tales that persisted along the years. I used to think that it was kind of cute and harmless, Bill Sprouse said of the myth, but now I've met too many people that have been influenced by stories like this, which are dressed up as journalism, and they think the Jersey Devil is real. Sprouse, 37, who grew up in Egg Harbor Township, now lives in Mexico City, is out to set the record straight. No, there's no such thing as the Jersey Devil. Screw this guy. Wrote some books against him. Where did this get good?
There's obviously going to be people out there that aren't going to believe in this. So,
this article's way.
How big is the Jersey Devil? Apparently, or so they say.
Is it big?
Huge, yeah.
Really?
Let me see if I can find exactly how big it is.
I mean, it sounds like a kangaroo-looking animal.
Yeah, it has like the body of a horse.
Yeah, but see that picture that you're looking at right now? It doesn't look like anything I was looking at. It said like it was kind of.
That's all the pictures I've seen.
I mean, that's straight out of weird Pennsylvania or weird New Jersey.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it.
Scary-looking creature.
Yeah, and if there's any noise in the background, I have to apologize. My brother's being really loud. Yeah, he's eating, and he sounds like a fucking motorboat.
No, it's called cracking crabs.
Oh, he has crabs.
Yeah, he does probably.
No, literally, I got crabs.
But anyway, I can't find how big it was. Wikipedia. Here we go.
Yeah, see, that's the picture that I was looking at the moment.
Well, yeah, but let's move on to something else because this is just bugging me because I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the Dover Demon because this is actually a really popular one, and this takes place right outside of Boston in Dover, Massachusetts. During the 1970s, multiple witnesses came forward with their sightings of the Dover Demon, which is described as looking like a gray variety of an alien. Like what the grays are when they talk about aliens? They're like the generic description of aliens: big heads, long bodies,
skinny body. Yeah.
It's basically the same thing as that, but it's like really small, like 3 feet. Two big head, big eyes that
Where
glow.
did that story originate from?
Dover, Massachusetts, in the 1970s.
Oh, okay.
Racetrack Dover?
No, that's Dover. That's Delaware.
Delaware?
Yeah, we're talking about Dover, Massachusetts.
Yeah, same thing.
The Dover Demon describes looking sort of like the gray variety of the aliens, except that its skin is rosy orange instead of sickly gray. The Dover Demon has a large head on a small stick-like body and can be bipedal, but is often travels on all fours or switch back and forth between the two models of locomotion. Whew, that was a lot to say. Its eyes glow, sometimes orange, sometimes green. It does not seem to wear any clothing unless the clothing fits tightly and is the same color of its body. Unlike the Greys, the Dover Demon does not seem to be associated with UFOs. It just wanders around on its own. Cryptozoologists seldom show interest in the Dover Demon. Mainstream cryptozoologists are rarely willing to seriously investigate humanoids other than the hairy ones. It seems that sightings only happen during a short period of time, but most claim the sightings have now ceased, so the Dover Demon does not seem to be pressing matters. So there hasn't been sightings since the 70s, but I can definitely...
There have been attacks, though.
No, there haven't been attacks. And I don't know if my mic is picking you up, but my brother asked if there were attacks. I could read some of the reports because they do have the sightings. The first sighting was on April 24th, 1977. The last sighting was literally the next day. So it only went on for 2 days, but there were multiple sightings of it.
Yeah. Maybe
It
was an
could have
alien.
just been an animal with mange.
It's possible.
Because mange basically makes all animals lose all their hair.
Mm-hmm.
So why couldn't it have been a small bear cub or something with mange?
Right. That was abandoned by its mother.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. The disbarred tale begins at 10:32 p.m. on April 21st as three 17-year-olds, Bill Bartlett, Mike Mizzokata and Andy Brody are driving north on Farm Street. Bartlett, who's behind the wheel of a Volkswagen, spots something creeping out along a low wall of loose stones on the left side of the road. At first, he thinks the image is a dog or cat until his headlights shine on it, and he realizes it's nothing he's seen before. Figure slowly turns its head and stares into the light. Its two large, round, glassy, lidless eyes shine brightly like two orange marbles. I can't even finish reading this because I'm seeing pictures of it, and it's just kind of ridiculous looking, but the sightings only happened for 2 days, so I'm just going to stop right there and just say I don't believe this. The Enfield Horror. The heck is that? Oh man, that just looks like something straight out of Scooby-Doo. I'm not even going to finish. I'm not even going to attempt to read what this thing is. Have fun eating crabs, Frank?
I did. All right. Well, I'm back, and I have a topic that I kind of want to talk about.
Go for it.
No. So, like, I mean, when you think about mythological creatures, not like the Greek mythology, but something, you know, in like relative to the United States. I mean, I would talk about, you know, the chupacabra. Like James said before, the chupacabra. Most people think that is like it's like a manged animal. Isn't it like, Nick? Isn't it like somewhat relevant to like towards like Mexico, New Mexico, kind of like that area?
Yeah. It's known for sucking the blood of goats and other small farm animals.
Right. So
basically dry.
Yeah. I mean, I can't explain that, but I mean, like most people that do have sightings, that like videos of like animals. I know there was one where this guy was like chasing what he thought was a chupacabra down the road, but then they did catch it in like a cage or something, and it turned out to be a coyote, but it's manged. Crazy thing is, the disease that James was talking about before with mange. There was a bear in Bucks County that had mange, and it looked really strange. We have a guest speaker tonight. It would be James's brother, Justin. Can you come over here and just talk about the manged animal that you saw?
Hey guys, this thing, I was driving past a house near us, Pearl S. Box house, and it kind of, out of the corner of my eye, I saw it, and the brief description I could tell you of it is it looked as if it was a kangaroo. And it scared me for a second because my sight's really good and I rarely miss things. But when I saw that, I kind of lost. I swerved a little bit and I was like, "What was that?" Not wanting to go back.
But this was before you knew that there was a bear out there.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a bear that had mange.
Right.
So I'm thinking, who the hell has a kangaroo? Why would someone have a kangaroo just loose on their property? But, I didn't want to go look back because I was going to meet my brother and his friends. So I'm like, all right, I'll press on. When I get to my brother's friend's house, they proceed to tell me after I told them the story that there's a bear with mange. And I was like, oh, what the hell is that? And then my brother tells me mange is the sickly disease that animals get where they lose all their hair.
Makes them very strange looking.
Yeah, they're really sickly.
No, but see, that's why. Yeah, like the manged bear, it looked weird because it had no hair, and when an animal has no hair, like it just looks so weird. And like the chupacabra, like that's for me, like that's why I don't really necessarily believe in the chupacabra, is because the areas that people are seeing them is there's a large populations of coyotes, and the chupacabra, according to a lot of people who've seen it, says that it's like the size of a coyote, and then they're like, oh wait, you know what? Like maybe it's just a coyote with mange.
The only thing that wouldn't make sense if it was a coyote is why is it drinking all the blood? Like some animals that are found after attacks are completely drained.
Here's the
blood.
thing. Like,
and there's no other wounds other than the neck.
That's what they say, but like, you know what the weird thing is? Like, I'm gonna transition to something different. Like the two topics that I wanted to talk about tonight.
See, I did find a story that I don't know if you ever heard of it, but reminds me of something else that we all know of. So I was going to read it, but continue with
no. Okay, so like the transition that like I think that this would be a good topic for another day, like another podcast that we'll have. But the thing that that people say, you know what happens to livestock a lot? When they find like livestock like completely mutilated and it like just looks like just terrible like cows and horses and people's like livestock on their property, and then they say that it could possibly be aliens. I don't know, but
okay, aliens is a totally different topic that will come about in
right. That's what I'm saying. But like that's a possible explanation for the animals being drained of their blood and mutilated. For someone who believes in that stuff.
We'll talk about it real quick. We're not going to have a huge conversation about it.
Because we would save it for a different podcast.
Yes. But my theory is, why would aliens abduct cows? What's the point?
I think that was just like kind of like someone made it up and then it just kind of, you know,
spread.
It just gained traction and people think it's a legit thing. But the thing that, you know, like shout out to Zach Bagans and the crew and from Ghost Adventures. But I remember they did that one episode where they went to some guy near the desert, and they said
Seattle. Wasn't it Seattle?
Something, but they said that the guy that owned the property was talking about how his animals were just mutilated.
It wasn't Seattle, by the way. I don't know why.
I think it was like Nevada, Arizona, something in the desert. But the guy said that his animals were just mutilated.
Fact, the podcast I listened to, I just gassed on that. The podcast I listened to, but the guy actually used to work on that show, Beyond the Darkness, and he was the one that they went and dropped off in the desert all alone. Remember the guy they dropped off in the desert because he wanted to experience something?
Right, the bald guy.
Yeah, he's the guy that runs the podcast.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, that we're not going to talk about aliens. They did see things in the sky, and it was that specific area.
When he saw the thing, he got from that show. He left and got a sketch artist to draw what he saw, and he has it framed. Basically, because he talks about it all the time on his show, it said it was a ship, but it looked like a stingray, and that's the way it flew through the sky. It looked like a stingray would swim, but you could tell it was metallic. And the guy, when he told the owner of the farm said, "Oh, yeah, they're like mixes between like robots and like genetic material, so their ships made using, I don't know, it's some weird explanation." They say that the ship
was like some kind of organic.
It was an organic ship.
Right. No, I think like we're going off topic with the alien stuff, but like I was just using it to explain the possible theory to why animals are ending up dead on people's property, and it's probably not the chupacabra.
I want to cut in again. But I think that it's some weird Satanist trying to fucking conjure up some demons.
Yes and no, because yes, animal
they do
mutilation.
Sacrifice animals, but then no.
What to call, like, if you ever seen
but Justin,
the eyes are ripped out. And
but Justin, they can tell if it's a knife that.
Devil's advocate. There's a lot of crazy people out there, and
well, I'm just saying they'll be able to tell the difference between someone using a knife or a type of weapon to drain the body compared to something else.
Not till I see a picture of like fangs on the animal itself, then I'll believe it. I mean, you know what? We could take a long stretch and say it's vampires. You know what? Vampires are going out there because they're sucking the blood of animals instead of humans because they're becoming more, just nicer people out there. You know what I'm saying? Vampires. Leave it at that.
Sounds like you're on Team Edward, Frankie.
I was always Team Edward.
So okay, here's the story I found and I want to talk about because it sounded so far-fetched. It's honestly stupid. But then when I read the first sighting and the last sighting, and I saw descriptions of it, it reminded me of, if you've seen The Conjuring 2, The Crooked Man. Remember The Crooked Man?
Yeah,
they're actually making a movie about him.
That is a terrifying movie.
The thing's called Spring-Heeled Jack. And the first sighting was in October 1837.
Okay.
Last sighting, 2012.
But how far in between? Like, was there things in between? Or
I don't know.
Was that the most recent
I didn't
one?
fully read the story because I was going to wait. So Spring-Heeled Jack is a cryptid that's sighted in England. The first accounts of Spring-Heeled Jack were made in London in 1837, and the last reported sighting is said in most of the secondary literature to have been made in Liverpool in 1904. The first report of Jack was from a businessman returning home late one night from work, who told of being suddenly shocked as a mysterious figure jumped with ease over the high railings of the cemetery, landing right in his path. No attackers were reported, but the submitted description was disturbing. A muscular man with devilish features, including a large pointed ears and nose and protruding glowing eyes. Perhaps best known of the alleged incident involving Spring Heel Jack was the attacks on 2 teenage girls, Lucy Scales and Jane Alsop. Alsop report was widely covered by the newspapers. Jane Alsop reported that on one night, February 19th, 1838, she answered the door of her father's house to a man claiming to be a police officer, who told her to bring a light, claiming, "We have caught Spring Heel Jack in the lane." She brought the person a candle and noticed that he wore a large cloak. The moment she had handed him the candle, however, he threw off the cloak and presented a most hideous and frightful appearance. That's quoted straight from the report.
From the one from
Vomiting
2012?
blue and white flames from his mouth, while his eyes resembled red balls of fire. This also reported that he wore a large helmet and that his clothing, which appeared to be very tight-fitting, resembled white oilskin. This sounds weird. Without saying a word, he caught hold of her and began tearing her gown with his claws, which she was certain were of some metallic substance. She screamed for help and managed to get away from him and ran toward the house. He caught her on the steps and tore her neck and arms with the claws. She was rescued by one of her sisters, after which her assaultant fled. The first sighting and the second sighting sound two different things. The second one, and I'm going to be straight with you, just sounds like a rapist. And he was wearing some weird costume. And then they actually broke down some sightings. I read you that Lucy Scales, again on the 28th of February, Lucy Scales, 18, was returning with her sister from their brother's house in Lime's house. As they were passing the Green Dragon Alley, Lucy came across a man in a large cloak who unexpectedly spurted out some blue flames onto her face. This kind of, I don't even know. It just said he spitted out blue flames into her eyes and she had fits of rage. But this is the picture they get for him, Frank. And this is why I said he looked like the Crooked Man. He apparently leaps from buildings.
It's terrifying looking.
It's just like picture like a Slender Man-esque figure with a cape and like a musketeer hat. Go ahead.
All right. So, are you good with that story?
Well,
itself?
I was gonna skip ahead to the modern sighting.
Because something like this, you can like easily just say it's a
person.
Human. It's a human, but like, see, like I don't know about you, James, but I'm very interested in like the most popular, mythological creatures out there.
I like talking about ones that a lot of people haven't heard of.
No, but I mean this is onto a different topic, but it's an interesting one. I actually have an article pulled up on my phone. But I mean, when people think of mythological creatures, what kind of people what do you think people think of that we haven't talked about yet?
Loch Ness Monster.
Right, Loch Ness Monster. So I mean, the Loch Ness Monster is supposedly like some kind of dinosaur, like a Leopleurodon-looking dinosaur into the lake. But I was actually just like randomly, this is just a really weird coincidence. But I was on Fox News, the science part, right? It said a Loch Ness Monster redux, dinosaur-like creature reportedly spotted in North Carolina lake. Right, a 35-year-old man from Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, has reportedly spotted a dinosaur-like creature in a man-made lake. The man who wished to remain anonymous reported his findings to cryptozoology.com, a website that reports on strange occurrences. He said, quote, "I was on a boat with my friends," the man told the website. We were near the lake's main channel when we saw something splashing around the water. While boating on the man-made lake, Norman, the man, along with several of his friends, spotted the creature, describing it as a splashing around the water. He noted it was around 10 feet long and reminded him of a mythological creature, Loch Ness Monster. No photos were taken of the creature, as it were only visible for approximately 1 minute until it went below the surface. Cryptozoology says its articles are based on witnesses' accounts, original videos, pictures, and subsequent interviews carried out by Cryptozoology News. Lake Norman is no stranger to unexplained sightings, with several people having said they have seen the creature that lives in the water. There is a website, LakeNormanMonster.com, that allows people to post about what they have seen. The lake was created between 1959 and 1964 as part of the construction of the Cowens Ford Dam. It is the largest man-made body of fresh water in North Carolina. And it said it's going on in the article, but one man said that he was knocked off the boat after a huge force and spotted a 15-foot Nessie-like sea monster swimming away. Another witness said that he and his girlfriend. Yeah, I mean, the thing that like it's North Carolina, and yeah, but they're saying that it's a 14-foot. So they're saying 14-foot creature in the water. I mean, if this is what they're seeing, I honestly cannot think of anything that would be in the water that's big. I mean, do you think there's sharks in the water? No.
Sturgeon.
People always say that's what's a possibility. Or catfish. Yeah, right.
Well, that's what this one person's saying. He said he saw what looked like a sturgeon. And this person
he thought it was a sturgeon?
No, he said something resembling a sturgeon. And the guy's commented, said, not being skeptical, actually extremely interesting, hoping for the real life Nessie here in good old North Carolina. Couldn't it just be a sturgeon, though? They get massive and do closely resemble that of a croc with the spines on their back.
Right.
So, stuff like that's really hard, especially when you have known species of fish that live in that lake.
Right. I mean, it's North Carolina's lake. I mean, I can't think of anything that would be close, except for, as Justin said over there, like a catfish, But then again, like a catfish.
Depends on species.
Right. No, but then if you think of a catfish, you think of like a bulky looking
You would
creature.
know.
Yeah, you would. I would know the difference between what a catfish.
There's some that do.
Catfish don't get the spines.
I know
on their
that
back.
the sturgeon could definitely, absolutely resemble something like it has spines on
And
its
a
back.
catfish doesn't resemble a crocodile.
And people are gonna look at it and be like, oh wow, look at that spine on its back. It's a dinosaur. I mean, the sturgeon is very prehistoric looking, but is it a dinosaur?
I'm looking at pictures of the sturgeon right now.
Right, it has the spines. I'm pretty sure it's called the white sturgeon.
I have no idea, but like
Crazy thing. But I was in Long Island a couple weeks ago, and right before I went to the beach in Overlook, and
wasn't there a hammerhead?
no, but there was a sign. There was a big sign right before you walked on the boardwalk part. It said, if you see a sturgeon, report it, dead or alive. So I guess that, which didn't make any sense to me because I'm pretty sure that a sturgeon is a freshwater fish. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I was confused about, that they're saying that sturgeon are going into the sea, into the salt water. But then again, that's why I think that it could be a sturgeon, is because a sturgeon is a freshwater fish, and if it's in a lake, it could very well be that. I mean, where's the Loch Ness monster? Is that Scotland?
Ireland?
Loch Ness? Lake Nessie? Is that or
it's Loch Ness.
Loch Ness, and the creature's called Nessie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many movies on it, kids movies.
Yeah, Scottish Highlands.
Yeah.
Extending approximately 23 miles.
But then again, this is somewhat related to the Bigfoot. We could have had, we did have some kind of ape-like creature thousands of years ago. Mm-hmm. Could it still be around, Bigfoot? Yeah, maybe, if it survived that long. And then you have Nessie, which is a kind of dinosaur-looking creature. Could it still be around? Maybe, probably not, but people believe it's there.
I'm actually reading about sturgeon.
Hey, it's what it's probably going to become up, and it's probably going to be sturgeon.
They go into saltwater to breed or something like that?
Oh, by the way, the article that I did read was on Fox Science, and it was on, I think it was posted about a day or two ago.
Fox? I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it was like 2 days ago. But I mean, that's pretty interesting.
I was actually talking about it because we talked about it, and it actually has nothing to do with cryptids, I guess. The Crooked Man. I was reading up about like the origin and stuff, and it was just it's a rhyme, a kid's rhyme.
Yeah, do you remember from the movie Conjuring 2 where there was that box and you crank the box?
But I'm looking at like in pop culture where he's popped up, and there was a 3-part comic miniseries of Hellboy called Hellboy, the Crooked Man, and Others, where he fought the Crooked Man. Do you remember the game The Wolf Among Us by Telltale?
Right.
I have it on my computer. Yeah, the Crooked Man was the bad guy, and I never knew what he was from, and I do now. I'm making the connections.
Well, yeah, it's just an old fairy tale story.
There was an episode of Friends. Batman actually battled the Crooked Man, apparently, or early Batman story involving Batman and Robin solving a mystery whose clues were based on the Crooked Man rhyme.
Crooked Man is crooked legs, as I remember.
There was an episode of Friends with the Crooked Man. There was a sci-fi movie called The Crooked Man.
Shocker.
Yeah.
They come up with all these different kinds of movies.
Now they're making a spin-off movie. Anyway. I have a few more stories. I have like 3 more stories. We'll talk about them and just wrap up. But
Yeah, we should start leading towards the end of this.
I don't feel like I can't even pronounce this one. Abu Goo Goo.
I did see that. It just looked like some kind of ape person.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny looking. That's why. But it's Indonesia, so everything's funny looking.
I mean, is there any kind of other like popular? All right, well let's go back to Loch Ness monster. Do you believe in the Loch? Do you think that?
I think it's totally possible.
Do you think yes or no?
Yes.
Could have got trapped in
Nick.
an underwater cave.
What?
Loch Ness monster.
Something that big just doesn't go unseen or undocumented for this long. I say
But
no.
Loch Ness is so huge.
It's so deep
it's
that we
deep,
haven't.
too.
And wasn't there areas of the lake that they even?
There's
they have
areas
not-
of the lake they have not.
All
seen.
right, how big is Loch Ness monster?
23 miles is
20
Loch
yeah,
Ness.
No,
but
no,
how
no,
big is-
That's
oh.
just length.
They're,
Oh,
I mean,
Loch
they're
Ness,
not
they
saying.
don't have.
Yeah, they're saying it's not as big as it was back in the day. So like a 15-foot, 16, like a size of a boat.
You could also say, what if it was trapped under a water cave? Like a cave underwater? Like
It wouldn't be trapped in a cave because it'd be dead. It will run out of food.
Were you saying it like lives there and it comes out during?
Yeah.
certain times? I don't know.
But if it was trapped and it had stuff
It wouldn't
like
have been
crabs or something were in there and it was eating crustaceans
It
and
would
shit.
have run out of the crabs to eat over the amount of
Maybe
years.
that's why it comes out.
No, but
What he's saying is it was trapped.
what if something happened and it was
I don't know.
released and
You're
then,
you're stretching.
I know, but what if something like that happened? Like
What? Yeah, but you're stretching.
yeah, but still, like it could something like that could have happened where it got
It's-
trapped to it 1 year. And
Okay,
then,
what you're saying is highly, highly improbable. And
I'm
unlikely.
just saying, like what if something like
He's
that
just
happened?
playing devil's
Yeah,
advocate.
exactly. Like
I'm just,
something
and I
happened
know, and
and
I'm just.
it got released and then boom, boom.
I mean, there's so many
Some
different
dude
kinds
saw
of.
it
There's so many
somewhere.
different kinds of, people's stories and myths on like something that looks like
Like you ever
Nessie.
see the movie Piranha? Like the prehistoric piranhas?
Justin,
Like something like that.
you're talking about sci-fi movies now.
Hey, this
Well,
whole
Don't
this
compare a
whole
sci-fi
theory
movie
is.
to a
I mean,
myth
basically
because
the
that's
same
just
thing.
bad.
Science fiction. Like, yes.
Well, there's a difference between science fiction and a cryptid.
I mean, one thing that we can start is start to wrap it up in the right direction towards ending this. But like, one thing that does make sense is that every type of creature out there, like Loch Ness monster, there's like 10 other kinds of people, different lakes where people have seen something that looks like Loch Ness monster or
Nessie, Champ,
right,
the
and then
one you talked about. There's like 4 others. I
right,
think.
and then there's the Bigfoot, and people are like, oh well, there's the
Swamp ape, the
swamp
Yeti.
ape, the what's the one that smells?
Swamp ape.
Swamp ape, yeah.
Yeti.
People are seeing them in Florida, people in Louisiana. This is
But they're
the
not the same species because the one has longer hair.
That's what they're saying.
And
They're saying
one's more like evil than the other. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So then they're that's all the way down south towards Florida, Louisiana area, and then you have towards like Nevada and like Oregon where Bigfoot supposedly lives. But the whole thing that's interesting about cryptozoology is what gains traction for people is stories and accounts, and that's how I guess the topic of cryptozoology is gaining.
Well, it's a pseudoscience, and it bothers me because you know how cool that would be if that was an actual like thing you could go into a major.
Yeah,
And it
there
really- I mean,
needs
cryptozoology-
to be more evidence for it it to be a legitimate major, but
I think it's still a job, and it's still something people work at. But
I
it's
respect
not like,
it.
Yeah, they get. It's the kind of thing that people get laughed at for, and I mean, somebody has.
yeah.
to
Then
do it.
again, there's that guy on the Travel Channel. What's his name?
aliens.
No, not that.
Aliens. Oh, not that guy?
The guy that you watch on Destination Truth.
Don't you dare.
No, I'm just saying. What's his name?
Josh Gates.
Yeah, Josh Gates. I mean, this guy gets paid millions of dollars by the
Well,
Travel. He gets paid. He gets
a
paid.
good-
He gets paid.
But he has a show.
comfortably. But he has a
But he
show.
goes about it
ba-
skeptical.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine like for him as a person to go into like countries that he doesn't know and knowing that everything's against him? Like, people don't believe in this, but if you find something, then maybe I'll look at it.
I think he probably
good
likes
for
it.
him.
He's an archaeologist. He has a degree in archaeology. That's why he went to school to do stuff like
Yeah,
that.
See, that's the cool thing about being something like
If you
major
care about
archaeology. You know, you can study things that are dead, and you can also study things that possibly could still be alive.
Well, archaeology has to do with culture. You're not looking at bodies.
All right. Well, I mean, he majored in
I mean,
something
you
relevant.
find bodies sometimes, but you're not. You're mostly looking for the stuff the bodies left behind.
Right. I mean, to wrap it up, I guess for me at least,
Could things like this be around? Yes.
yeah. I mean,
But just
I was going
just like we said about everything else, it's unlikely.
I was going into this thinking, you know, if something on the news said like, oh, you know, Bigfoot was spotted and we captured it, or something like legit proof that it exists, then I'll believe in all this other stuff, because then, like, I mean, if that's a possibility, then anything else is a possibility.
Yeah.
But unlike what we talked about in our previous podcast with ghosts, I mean, I'm a firm believer in ghosts and demons and stuff like that. But when it comes to the cryptid, you know,
It's
mythological,
a little harder.
it's a stretch to believe in this stuff. But I mean, it's a
I
topic
like
that
to
people.
keep my mind open. I
Right.
guess that's what you really have to do is keep your mind open to stuff like this.
I mean, we're not here in this podcast to talk about things that are actually.
I'm not here talking about sports. You know, I can do that any other time.
Yeah, these are kind of things that people can debate about, whether it's real or not. It's a good dinner time story.
Yeah, it's
discussion.
It's a good, talk between friends, and it really, like, me and Josh were getting a little heated there because his theory was a little skeptical.
Yeah, but then again, that's something he believes in.
Yeah, that maybe that could have happened. It's very unlikely, but you never know. I was just trying to go about it like, devil's advocate.
I'm open to.
It's a little boring if everyone just agrees.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm open to believing in different things, but that's my point and my view on cryptozoology and anything that has to do with
cryptids.
Yeah.
That's it for tonight. I have another episode soon, within the next week. I really wish we could just pick a topic right now.
I actually do have a topic that we should talk about. I mean, we were discussing it before. Aliens. Aliens is
you
one.
Want to just do aliens? I had Tommy said he wanted to come for the aliens one. I could go and pick him up, and we'll do the aliens talk next time I have a chance.
Yeah, no. I think that aliens is
aliens. Might as well.
I mean, that's the other thing. I think when people think of things that possibly could exist as aliens.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a Bigfoot one.
We did actually.
We talked about Bigfoot today. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Thank you for listening. Rate, comment, all that stuff. Subscribe.
Yeah, you can follow me at Frankie_Giordano. I'll be posting some interesting pictures of myself. So if you give me a follow, that'd be great.
On what?
Instagram.
Okay. So.
Thank you for having me on this.
Get your handle on everything.
Oh no! I said that. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the show, James.
Social medias.
Yeah.
No, thank you for having me on the show. I
should
appreciate
definitely
it.
just make a Twitter for this show.
We totally should.
But
thank you for having me on the show, James.
But that is it for tonight. Sleep well and don't let the bed bugs bite.
I do like the way.